Hi there, everybody. I was just having some thoughts, I guess, about floor time because I'm very aware that normally when I post floor times on Facebook or I share pictures on Instagram or even my Rat Ray page, the majority of the time they're very extravagant, I guess, or very big. And those kind of floor times I don't think are easy for everybody to do. I live in a one bedroom flat, and in order to do floor times, I'm normally using my, what are you doing, Atlas? I'm normally using my hallway, and it takes a lot of prep, and it's actually not the floor time that I always do. And I was reflecting a little bit on how, oh, goodbye, solar, on how we only really share online the best versions of myself. So I'm more likely to share or do an Instagram live when I've given them this huge floor space and I'm watching them all interact and running laps, and they have lots to do. Whereas today is probably one of my more typical floor times where it requires less setup, and it's just, when it comes to the purpose of floor time, which for me is just giving your rats some time out of their cage where they can interact with things in a different way, have new problems to solve. Normally I provide enrichment like fishing for peas, and in this case we've got a snuffle mat that, hello Atlas, that I wouldn't really want to put in their cage because, to be honest, they would wreck it. Then, sometimes just working with the space that you have is absolutely fine. Just now, oh, are you coming back? That's fine. Just now, we are getting ready to move. We actually move in the middle of next week. On Monday, my mischief go to stay with a very great friend of mine, just so that they're out of the way when there's a lot of movement and their cages are getting shifted, and we're setting up the new house so that they don't get stressed out by everything going on. So it's not practical for me to set up one of the bigger floor times in the hallway. The barriers that I use to keep them safe are all, they're packed away. And the thought of pulling stuff out and moving boxes so that the rats wouldn't be able to interfere with packed items, oh my God, it just makes me feel so anxious. So what have I done today besides having to save Atlas from falling over the table? If you want to come back up, you can just use my arm. What are you doing? So I'm actually using our dining table, and it's not the biggest dining table in the world, but what are you doing, tea cake, to the branch? Yeah, it's not the biggest dining table, it's just one from IKEA that we have this wipeable dotty cover on. Hello, Biscuit. And all I've done is put there, well, this is a show tank, but I used this tank to move them from the cage over here because we've got quite a few rats. And then to set it up, I just put the snuffle bat. This was actually made by Beauty and My Beasts on Instagram. She makes like amazing hammocks and stuff in her spare time. Every time she's at a show, like her stuff is totally worth buying because it's bomb proof. We've got this, if you wanted to give them, we've got this, by this I mean the tank. If you wanted, like, you don't have to leave it pretty naked like I have. You could totally fill it up with either more of their substrate or some cocoa peat or coconut fibre or kind of organic soil with no added fertiliser, just to give them a different texture to dig in. You can see here, there's a shredded wheat. So I've mixed some food in there for them. And they were just there while we were setting this up. I've got the agility set from Aurora Ratchery, or Lynn, which I painted quite a while ago. So this has been here for a while, and I've just put it around just so that the rats had something to climb on. And then in the centre, which is, the water's a bit murky because they've been playing with it for quite a while, is the central pea fishing, which is literally one of the first like enrichment ideas I ever teach my rats to do. And then we have all these amazing branches, and they've all come from different sources. So the branches that are directly from a tree are actually from rat rations. Thank you so much, rat rations. They kindly, when they cut down a willow tree, which is safe for rats to play on, chew, they bring them all the way from like the south of England to Scotland into various rat shows so that people can pick them up and use them for their rats. And then we just have these bamboo rods that I've bound together with some old climbing rope. It's normally in their cage. Obviously, everything's out their cage because their cage is quite minimalist right now, and that's just because we're getting ready to shift everybody on Monday, which is in 5 days' time just now. But yeah, so the goal of this, I guess, is, having talked you through everything that I've given them, is just to give them something different that isn't their cage, just to make them problem solve for food. So we have food in a little box. They don't normally have a little box in their cage, so maybe this feels different. We have climbing opportunities that they don't normally have in their cage. I don't really put branches in their cage. Like right now they have really thick ones, so they've not seen these branches before, so I was like, sweet, let's intro them. And then just little other puzzles such as the snuffle mat. This is actually their first time playing with the snuffle mat, and they've already fished out all the banana chips. It's now just their mix that's left in it from when I last had a peek. And their favourite pea fishing, which I really rarely put in their cage, because when I have, it's just absolutely disgusting. But yeah, just having thoughts about how I normally share just like the grand things that I do, when actually my reality is more, you know, just me sitting, playing with my rats, giving them a cuddle, letting them climb on me, interacting with them, and, you know, watching them. And it's not always big grand designs. Sometimes it's just chucked together like this, and we all seem to still enjoy it. Thanks very much for listening to me ramble on for like 6 minutes. Oh, this is Betty, who's just come back from a pet home who wasn't able to look at her. And this is Rita. And they've integrated fantastically well, just in case you wondered who the new faces were. But I'll have to do, once we're moved and settled and everyone's back, don't do that. Don't do it. Then I'll introduce you to everyone who is now here, because there's been a few new faces, hasn't there? But anyway, thanks so much for listening to me ramble on, and I hope you've enjoyed. If it's just been ignoring what I'm saying, I hope you've enjoyed at least watching the rats play around. If she goes up there, I'll record it. But yeah, have a great day. Bye.